Hello and welcome to chapter 230 of our streaming adventure. What I have for you today is a request from the wheel. The wheel spun up Stoneforge Mystic, and so with that, I went to recent results on MTG Goldfish and looked for decks featuring Stoneforge Mystic, and honestly, I started in Legacy, and there's Death and Taxes. There's a couple different, I want to say Stoneblade, but it honestly felt like Stoneblade put in a blue-red Ragavan shell, and I'm like, I don't want to play Death and Taxes, and I don't want to play that Ragavan style. So then I was like, well, what else is there? And so I flipped over to Modern, and in searching Modern, it was like, oh yeah, there's Hammer Time. I've played Hammer Time. I enjoy Hammer Time. Let's play that. So here we are. Now, what's interesting is the Black Splash allows us to have Thoughtseize in the sideboard, which obviously is a powerful tool, but also that we can have Cranial Plating, or I should say, have the ability to instant speed hop Cranial Plating around. And as somebody that is very, very old and actually played Affinity in Standard in a regionals that I lost the first round and won the next 9, winning 9 mirrors in a row, I know my way around a Cranial Plating. But instant speed Cranial Plating is a little interesting here. That's a wrinkle I don't think I've tried before. And so I do think this will be fun. So want to say thank you to sponsor Mana Traders that allows me to play this variety of decks, and that's why I continue to push my wheel just as a way for me to give back to subscribers, that they can help kind of drive the content on the channel, as well as it helps me to get out of my comfort zone a little bit, maybe stretch. I mean, my back hurts a little bit. I don't know how much I should stretch, but move me along to be more well-rounded. And although I'm pretty round, the try new things, which is good for me, which will help me grow, etc. So, also want to say shout out to Swish Gaming. That's the team I'm on. You can find content over at swishgaming.com. You can also find people streaming at The Swish Gaming. And I believe the YouTube channel as well, because you might be watching me later there. I take my stream content, and you will see over on The Swish Gaming over in the YouTube channel. You should be able to put, if you ever need it, !YT Swish. Ta-da! All right. Without any further ado, let's jump into a Modern League. Not a challenge, a Modern League, please. All right. Now, as for the sideboarding choices, etc., I'm going to figure some of that along the way. The fact that this is an Urza Saga deck, as adding extra, I mean, it could effectively pull a threat out, or I should say, it could pull a creature out, or it could pull one of these equipment, Colossus Hammer, Shadow Spear, etc. Spell Bomb in a pinch. We're going to have Lurrus available to us. There's going to be a lot of options. All right, round 1. Don't forget to reveal your companion. Do they have a companion? They also have a companion. Okay. Looking at this hand, turn 1, Sigarda Zaid, Memnite, turn 2, Stoneforge Mystic. This feels pretty good. Oh, my Lurrus is off hiding. I'm going to put it over here. All right, pre-combat. Now that's interesting. Should I wait on the Sigarda's Aid? I'm going to say no. Like, I was just thinking about what about the fact that prismatic endings exist, etc., etc. Would that be a reason worth... You know what I mean? Prismatic ending existing as a reason not to necessarily start with Sigarda's Aid. Blood Crypt. Hey there, hey there. Trying out some Modern today. I got out of work, and on some of the days I want to try to come right out of work and play. Losing Stoneforge Mystic there was a little brutal. Alright, so we have another Concealed Courtyard. My thought here is let's get an Urza Saga starting to tick. Let's play... I mean, we might as well play Shadow Spear and start building that up. I don't see any reason not to. You've been gaming all day? Not bad, not bad. Some of us go to work. Not to say that your gaming isn't work. Oh, darn. That sucks. Hopefully all the best for you guys. Stay safe out there. Dun dun. Dun dun. Dun dun. So are they just Jund? Are they Jundlers? Seal Fire's a good one. Mill to Thoughtseize. They have 2 card types. So, I could start generating... That probably makes the most sense. Start generating Saga tokens. Once I'm generating Saga tokens, I can then worry about getting Lurrus in my hand. I think that makes the most sense. I'm going to have the ability to create a Saga token that would be a 2-2. Make the next one as 3/3s. Saga, pop, and go get me Nihil Spellbomb against the Lurrus deck and Dragon Rage Channeler. That seems powerful. Beginning of combat. Take it. I don't necessarily want to lose to them being able to pump up to 4. Because what are they missing? They're missing instant. They just have a bolt. You know. Make them hold it. Okay, they put Lurrus in hand. Am I wrong? Can't I just go get Hammer and they're dead? I'll attack for 14. Okay, I was like, wait a minute. There's a better play here. Yeah, I figured it out. Give me a break. Okay. So I don't have access to the pro red, pro black eat cards in their graveyard. Because that feels like it would be decent. I definitely want the spell bomb. Urza Saga, pretty good. I like the idea of prismatic ending since they are a Lurrus deck, they are likely to have. Well, we know that they have all cards 2 mana or less in their deck. So prismatic ending being able to come in and strip their cards seems pretty powerful. And other than, say, Path to Exile, which I don't know. Well, no, we saw Swamp there at the end. Seeing the Swamp at the end makes me want Path to Exile a little bit less. I do like Ingenious Smith. I wonder where you trim. You probably don't necessarily want to trim on threats themselves, so I could see a drum. I actually kind of want to take out the Flooded Strand. Is that weird? My thought is I'm not necessary. I guess it's an extra white source, so I would have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15 white sources on the first turn. If I take out a Springleaf Drum. Or should I be bringing in Thoughtseize? I actually probably should be bringing in Thoughtseize, and I'm not sure what does that mean I take out in its place. All right, Memnite's out. Three Thoughtseize in. Let's go with that. I think I like that overall. The ability to catch a Lurrus in hand. Now, I don't want to go too hard on it because of the potential life loss, but I do think I want the disruptive element. If you disagree, either let me know, or if you're watching this video later, let me know. I have a Lurrus. Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize, Inkmoth Nexus. 2. Alright, they're going to mulligan to 6. I kind of like the idea of keeping this, because depending on what they're going for, having the ability to Thoughtseize them, I do think I'm going to keep this. They mulligan to 5. That makes the Thoughtseize type plays even better. Now it's going to be, do they have multiple threats, etc.? Am I going to be able to punish that? You know. So, Blood Crypt Pass is very suspicious. That makes me think they have a really good 2-drop. Bolt, Shadow, Unholy Heat. So apparently they were Shadow all along. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Can we put them in a position to... They played Verdant. Can we put them in a position where they have to keep all this red up? You know? I'll still get the value out of playing Stoneforge Mystic, and I feel contractually obligated to play this Stoneforge Mystic. We have a lot of people out here. Did they shock and not do anything? Explosives on one. Okay. Seems pretty good. So we know they're holding up Lightning Bolt. They have one. They're holding Lightning Bolt and have Engineered Explosives up. So they're protected, theoretically. We could also... I don't want to give them 2 cards if I don't have to. Now, here's the thing. Am I playing into the Engineered Explosive there? I think I am. Because now they sweep away both of these with explosives as opposed to using the bolt. Yeah, that was wrong. I'm learning. Always yield to this. Okay. That was still in my main phase. Yeah. That's annoying. Because we're gonna lose Pure Steel Paladin. But I think we let it happen. I think the obvious card is Pure Steel Paladin. Yeah. So the question is, do I put Like, we're making them play off the top. That one seems decent. Yikes. Look at the cards. That sucks. So if I play Shadow Spear trigger puts a counter on it. So here's the thing. Do they currently have 4 card types? They do have 4 card types. So this would deal 6 damage. Okay. Let that happen. How nice if we would have found... Well, we did take the Mem Knights out, so that's your own fault, Jeremy. Okay. Do you try it again? Equip, attack. Get him to cash it in. I mean, they have to cash it in. I could play Luris and replay an Esper Sentinel. Come on. No whammies. Alright, we have a hammer, we have a sentinel, we have a cranial plating. I'll take the cranial plating. I still have to get the Luris into hand, though. Now I'm trying to think. The wording on Sigarda's aid says it has to be there whenever the equipment enters. So yeah, it's got to be there still. Okay, Luris is back in hand, and they're playing a Dragon's Rage Channeler. Okay. Aren't they just dead? Yeah. Yes. So their creature is currently flying. Okay, so they do have options. Can I plus 10 plus this? Yeah. Give myself some trample. There we go. We had all the tools. We just had to figure out how to use them. Not bad. Chalk up a win. I mean, it's the case of your cards are so individually powerful. How can we make best use of them? Round 2. It says our opponent is a butter merchant. We are a Luris deck. They are not. We've got Nexus. I mean, this feels pretty decent. Turn 1, Sigarda's Aid. Now, unfortunately, you can't play turn 1 Sigarda's Aid off the Inkmoth Nexus, but theoretically, we could lead. No, I don't want to lead. You don't want to lead Saga because you want to have 2 mana available when you follow up with it. I'm thinking I lead Silent Clearing for Sigarda's Aid just to have it there, and then I could play an Inkmoth Nexus, and then on the following turn, depending on what they do, you attack with Inkmoth Nexus, swing, after no blocks, drop the hammer. Is this the kind of person in my draw step? I was going to say, are they the kind of person that is playing Spell Pierce? Oh. Let's find out. Complete lack of Spell Pierce from them. Correction. Okay. Cards were played. What is going on? All right, so they thought Scoured. They're going to do something. They're going to play a bunch of stuff. Does this looks like it does, but it doesn't actually have flying. We'll get a Nexus out there. Threaten the ability to do stuff. Yep, sorry. The fact they held, well, okay, they didn't shock the second time. They shocked that first time for the ability to Thought Scour, and then they just kind of did nothing. I think if they do nothing again, I'm going to deploy Urza Saga. Because that lets me put the impetus on them. Meanwhile, I can start cranking out tokens. Right? Mana Morphos. Okay. Discard a card, then draw a card. Okay. Arclight Phoenix, sure. Oh, it's rebounded, so it's currently exiled. Does that trigger for Arclight Phoenix? It does. The old no attacks. Okay. Is this the kind of person that has a force negation? Answer is yes. Gut shot. I did not expect gut shot. Touche, they got me with gut shot. So I think we play the other Inkmoth Nexus. Because we're not going to be able to have haste anywhere. But Pure Steel with one more artifact drops the equip cost on Hammer. They bolted me? Okay. Keep in mind, does this let them play cards when it attacks? Okay. No blocks. So, if I play Stoneforge, there isn't a 0 mana one. Or if I played that out, white, for Pure Steel Paladin, activate it, I could play that out. So this is going to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 coming in. So I really can't take too much damage. If I get a cranial plating, no, let's just get another hammer. Let's give ourselves a nice large trample creature. Or we don't have trample yet, but trample can be achieved through the Urza Saga. Faithful Mending is a life gain spell. I have to be mindful of a life gain spell. Is this game 1? I believe this is game 1. Check my thing. Yes, we are in game 1. Up above the Swish Gaming logo, the MTG bot will tell you what game you're in. Clever. Flashback, okay. Does gain them life, though. Two cards in hand. So, the question is... do I generate the 2/2? Or do I just get the mana? And I feel like I don't necessarily need... do they play bounce spells? Question mark? I don't believe I can cast the aura and equipment. I can't play them at instant speed? Okay, yeah. Jeskai, Demilich, Phoenix. I wasn't sure exactly what to call the deck, but... alright, so... well, with their recursive threats, I think I want Path. If a player plays a spell, if no colored mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. You still pay mana with Manamorphose. Demilich can be... it reduces the cost once they play Demilich? That seems dubious. I think the ability, the trample on the Shadow Spear seems pretty powerful. I guess this would be worth... let's go check out Goldfish just to see, do they have, what are Demilich decks playing as a sideboard thing that I have to worry about myself, right? So, are there Demilich decks? Jeskai, Phoenix. Gut Shot. Okay. Be mindful of Gut Shot. A lot of Leyline of the Void, Wear Tear, Obsidian Charmaw. That seems pretty good. So they don't really have counters. They have Flusterstorm. They have Path. Okay. I don't want Thoughtseize. My Thoughtseize, Memnite. I want paths for them. Inkmoth Nexus feels like it's going to be just scared of Gutshot existing. It's hexproof from white. It's not. Alright. Game 2. Bum, 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 bum. Alright, they are keeping 7. I have nothing. I have... I don't think this is playable either. Okay. I put one of those back. Who's better? Do I really need multiple? I guess if you're given something like that, it's better to diversify threats, especially the fact that Luris exists. Right? I'm setting up here to go get my Godless Shrine, but it's like, is that necessarily... Did I really need a play off the top? A turn 1 play, I should say. You gonna stifle me? Alright, so... I could play Urge the Saga here to start building towards something. Follow that up with... I mean, if they just remove it, right? Yes, please. I mean, I feel like it's just hammer. Bolt. Bolt, just kidding. I have reconsidered. But they're keeping these cards off consider. That's... Okay, they considered, wanted it, drew it, then fetched. Fair. Consider makes more sense if you're trying to throw cards in the graveyard too, though. If I give it truthfully. Now, one thing I wonder is, do I need to have should I have prioritized just putting Spellbomb in play? Right? If Spellbomb is out there, it's just lurking to fiddle with all this stuff they're about to do. Now, it doesn't if the Demilich is in their hand. Because then they just play it. Yeah. So I guess what I'm thinking here... If they have that stupid Charmaw... Urza Saga will make it cost 1 life. Oh, I can't get Urza Saga off the table currently, so let's not worry about that. If we play Concealed Courtyard, I generate a 1/1. I can generate another one and follow up. Would I rather have... I think I'm going to make them have it. I guess what is Urza Saga going to go get? That's a better question. Because they can choose to replay. Maybe they replay Consider or Manamorphose. In the attack step seems strange. Do you have to pay to play it? Okay. I mean, Bolt at least like does damage. They could have the discard spell. I'm learning. Big, powerful, modern wizard here. Arclight Phoenix has joined the team. No blocks. So, hear me out. Bolt. Gut shot. Weak. I kind of like Springleaf Drum. Yes, please. Yeah, that's fine. Attack for 4, rebuy the Bolt. Okay. So the question here is... One, two. No, I want him as a blocker. I don't know if I need him as a blocker, but I would like him as a blocker. So then the question is, okay, so we drew an Esper Sentinel. We're going to have a lot of mana when it comes back to our turn. It's going to have a lot of mana when it comes back to our turn. The question is, will we be alive or not? Because we might not. Like, Bolt, Phoenix, Gut Shot, we're dead. Right? A Fused Wear Tear. That's bad for me. Mm-hmm. Are they gonna... I'm gonna say, are they gonna take out my Urza Saga? So now... my thought here is that we will be able to generate a construct. I currently have, quote, 2 blockers. That's my goal here. But the blockers I have are on the ground. All right, they let all that happen. Does my opponent want to pay 11? Oh, they bolted me? I didn't know they bolted me. That sucks. Darn it. Resolves. Does anything change? They still have to pay the cost of these cards, so I don't see Void Mirror getting better there. Potentially, I need to have more cards to play out to. But, like, then again, if I'm using this, I'm falling prey to Gut Shot. I like First Strike. Deck's great. I'm great. Do. Opponent is rethinking things, perhaps. Like, maybe I needed to play... No, because I think they did play Demilich from hand. So the Spell Bomb play didn't necessarily help me. Prismatic Endings, they don't have targets that I care about. Commando is... I don't see it. And maybe I'm not... Maybe I'm thinking of it wrong. Like, just the actual burn elements of it were problematic for me there. All right, we have won the die roll. I have a companion. We were also on 5 cards. All of that hurts. Right? Turn 1, Ornithopter, Saga, Springleaf Drum, Thoughtseize you. Yeah. Bump, bump. Starting with more cards in hand is always good. If we can strip a removal spell, even better. Because Ornithopter, a Saga, a Springleaf Drum, like, we're most of the way. Turn 2, we're making constructs. Following up with a Cranial Plating. I mean, all of that seems to go towards powerful, powerful, powerful. Opponent has lost connection to the game. Hopefully they will be back soon. In the meantime, Luris is just going to run around on the screen. Speaking of cool Lurises, I still hold Adam's foil Japanese Luris here because I have not been able to see him in person. Or the one time I saw him in person, I was occupied by the 60 people at my house for a surprise birthday party. But yes, soon he will have his Luris. I feel like it's strange. Like, that card has fluctuated wildly, I guess is the best way to put it. Sucks for opponent to get disconnected in a match at all. Like, I know I certainly have been having computer problems. Luckily, not recently. It happened. It felt like it happened more when I streamed later in the evening. I haven't really noticed the issue since I've streamed earlier. Like, I come home and hop on the computer, but I don't know. I feel like this is going to be a pretty good... I might even follow turn 2 Urza Saga, because then you just start deploying more artifacts, get more Ornithopter. Like, it's just more possible targets. I really like the idea of Concealed Courtyard in a deck where the Urza Saga, your land drops of Urza Saga are going to disappear and turn into other things. So it's not that your land drops are gone, but the Concealed Courtyard checking on X number of lands. That's a cute little interaction, right? Being on the play, being able to deploy a threat, And I mean, unless they have like multiple removal spells, maybe you go after something more like if Demilich is in their hand, you make them throw it away, but I mean they're effectively just going to buy it back. The Saga could trigger the first time to go get the Nihil Spellbomb, so that's another interesting thing that could happen. But I feel pretty good about being a deck that, I mean, the fact that we have cranial plating kind of coming along is going to be able to turn Ornithopter-like threats and or the constructs that we're putting out from Urza Saga. All of those have the ability to be, quote, big. And while their XX cranial plating is giving +X+O, good time when you start compounding the number of artifacts in play, and that's what Urza Saga is going to do for me. I feel pretty good about how this is set up, and the fact that our opponent has been inactive. I hope it's our opponent that is inactive and not me who's inactive. That'd be frustrating. Let me see. Am I allowed to change things here? Yeah, that changed, so strange. I'm just clicking stuff to see what happens. Dear opponent, come back. I mean, it's not that I will never turn down a free win. I just hope nothing bad has happened to our opponents. I hope it's just a case of they needed to run and get their laundry. The pizza delivery guy showed up and they didn't have the correct change. They forgot that they registered for a 5:30 p.m. online class. Their movie showtime was starting and they were somehow playing on a laptop in the movie theater lobby. See, their plane was boarding. They were getting ready to fly to Roanoke for, I don't know if you can actually fly into Roanoke, SCG Con. And we're getting a little last minute testing. I hope that the butter merchant does terrific in whatever they were planning to do. Just not this match. In this match, I was going to be clever and say, like, the butter merchant has run out of... It's not clever, though, so I apologize. Not the best at filling dead air. I mean, I try. I haven't streamed any of the challenges on the weekend in a while. Because real life has kind of come back. There's things to do. You can't see outside right now. But there's a lot of leaves out there. And I got to pick up a lot of leaves. But I still have an injured back. So that's not great either. So the joys of home ownership is that you always have yard work or fixes you can do or repair. There's always something. There's always something. So what's interesting, and I don't remember the disconnectivity timeout, because if you're active or if you're connected and you don't do anything, I think it's like a 4-minute, 5-minute timeout. But it is apparently a 7-minute, or okay, it says that they disconnected at 5:28 and at 5:35 they lost the match to inaction. So it's 7 minutes. I do feel pretty good about how that third game was going to go, but I mean, it's one of those things where, you don't know for sure. All right. If you will give me a quick second, I have been drinking a lot of beverages. I will be right back. I'm just going to run to the restroom, but we'll be back quick. All right. Thank you for sticking with me. I noted in other formats, I feel like sometimes you can just do the finding league opponent and walk away, and sometimes there are longer wait times. But I don't know. It feels like Modern tends to be pretty quick. Why exactly, I don't know. But I didn't want to necessarily run the timer down, be like, oh yeah, you found a match, disconnect, found a match, matchmaking failed, etc. Ta-da! Sometimes you just gotta do this. All right, ready for round 3. Show my companion. Does my opponent have any companions? Yep. Okay. So, keep. Turn 1, Memnite, Plains, Drum, Sigardazade, right? And then we go into the next turn able to Okay. Potential mirror. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is pretty great. Bang! Got him! I guess what's clever there is I attack, and if they don't block, well, then we don't block. But hexproof from white doesn't necessarily give me anything. Well, they can't target me with their removal spell, so maybe that's what I want. It's still a Luris Mirror, so I think I still want the Spell Bomb. I just feel like in a deck like this, the Thought Seizes are going to run out fast. Yeah, I'm not exactly what is supposed to get. Like, the Path to Exiles let me react at instant speed. Is that better than Prismatic Ending? Yeah, probably. What are the worst cards? It feels like Memnite is the worst card, but then again, it did exactly what I needed to there. I mean, look at what am I going to sideboard in against them? Removal. If I'm bringing in all of this removal, you just have to find times to sneak in. Trample, the life gain from Shadow Spear might be nice. I could probably trim there. I know it's sacrilegious during the Stoneforge Mystic stream, but I still think it's okay. And then Pure Steel Paladin is another thing where it's like you're going to try to get card draw, but being on the draw, do I play defensively versus being on the play? Maybe. Like, this feels weird, but it's like, I don't know that you're supposed to take lands out. Okay, if we draw the Marsh Flat, just remember it could have been a Springleaf draw. Let's remember that. Marsh Flat could have been a Springleaf draw. Playing first. Luris for everybody. What do I have? I don't have removal, but I can make a blocker. I'll keep. Ornithopter, Drum, Esper Sentinel. That seems very strange to start with. Do I now want to start with Urza Saga so that it comes out faster? I think I do. Especially the fact that I have Springleaf Drum. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They got an Ornithopter, sure. I mean, I think I have to start generating the fact that I can start generating 2/2s, and or I should say I can start generating Saga tokens and get a Shadow Spear from it, I think is just too powerful not to do. Yeah, just sit back. Also, it's not useful to attack due to needing the Springleaf Drum content. You know. I guess we see what they do. That could change things for me. Ingenious Smith just is a good card. Two Marsh Flats. See, this is why I wanted to cut the land, because I feel like the land are the least powerful cards I'm going to be able to draw in any particular time. Prismatic Ending, targeting Springleaf Drum. All right. Do I get to draw a card, or are they going to pay for it? They paid for it. Okay, so it's interesting how they did that, because it does take away a potential. It's another construct for me because of me not having it. So that's clever. However, I'm pretty sure I end up suiting up and attacking. So, do we think they have the removal spell? Opponent said we nut draw 2 games in a row, and I said, yep. Let's put it on the right card. All right, pass. What you got? You're at 2. Any spells you play will draw me cards. I don't know. Are these nut draws? I mean, they seem pretty good, but is that a nut draw? Next turn, I can play Cranial Plating and suit it up. Mm-hmm. They're giving themselves more blockers. I think that's correct. There's currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So play Cranial Plating is 6. Plus 6 would be 7 in the air, trample. It's pretty good. Got an Ornithopter to block. Got more Ornithopters to block. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. Just put Cranial Plating in play, right? Draw a card. I mean, I'm trying to show... Seven. Yeah, they can't stop this. Yep. That's a lot of damage. But I accept. Stoneforge Mystic, pretty good. Now, does it just make more sense? Once again, 2, 4, 9, 13 points. I could have got to 21 attack to just make sure the trample got through. Maybe that was it. Stoneforge for the hammer. Maybe that was the not correct call, but potentially less chance for there to be playing to an out. Unclear. Doot. On to round 4. I mean, it's nice to have a choice. Now, see, the thing is, I don't know who put it on the wheel. I was going to say, to have a choice from Steve Duell. But, hey, Van Wedge, hope you are doing well. Oh, come on. Did they cancel? They had to have canceled. Because I didn't even click yes yet. Yeah, they failed because it says I have increased matchmaking priority. Hope you're doing well. We're sitting 3-0 so far. Match number 4. I have this one. Companion for them. Yep. So this is 23 hammers. No good way to play them. Okay. Still no white mana. Turn 1 Saga, turn 2 put that one back. Hopefully, if they have plays involving non-creature spells, we get to draw off them. Ooh, Aluris with a Scalding Tarn. Goblin Guide. So Luris Burn. No blocks. I want lifelink, right? So that is a good question. Are they red, white, or red, black? For the purposes of burn, I would have to imagine red, white for Boros. Yeah, exactly what you just said. Anything other than that, I would find extremely unlikely. Just the fact that the fetch lands are Scalding Tarns is interesting. Scalding Tarn is not what I would think. Sacred Foundry, okay. Is this like the red removal spell? That's like if you played a land. Ugh. So, Eidolon is usually bad news for me. I don't have enough artifacts yet for... I could draw a card off Shadow Spear and then have it available to me. I could play and equip Shadow Spear. I kind of like that. But then it's still in bolt range. It's either play Paladin, play Shadow Spear, which will shoot me for a good chunk of damage. So I don't know if it's that. But it might be that. Okay. We're not going to attack at all. We want to get this lifelink online. Lifelink on a big artifact creature, even better. So they revealed I'm drawing another Stoneforge Mystic. I could trade off on that Eidolon. So we know we are drawing Stoneforge Mystic currently. Rift Bolt coming. Okay. Two, three. Rift Bolt's coming, Jeremy, so you have to play around that. Okay. Expected Bolt. Can I change anything here? No, because it costs 2. I could get 1 out of it, but 1's not enough to do anything. So... Okay. Equip Mist. Now, the fact that I wanted to keep that one alive means I probably should have put it on Stoneforge Mystic. Stoneforge Mystic would have probably made the most sense. Because this Rift Bolt is going to come and shoot the Construct, most likely. Unless it's just, they're just going... I could just very well be dead here. Just going face. Burn, burn, burn. Rift Bolt, Lava Spike, yep. Yep. So what I needed to do, I think, is put Shadow Spear on Stoneforge Mystic. So if they kill Stoneforge Mystic, I can still go back and put it on the... What do you call it? Even if they kill... Even if they kill the 2/2, what's his name? Pure Steel Paladin, it will already... I targeted Stoneforge Mystic, it will still be alive. So that is where I messed up. Okay. So, what do we care about? Do I care about removing, like, if they're just a burn deck, what does current modern burn look like? Luris burn. Spoilers, lot of removal, smash to smithereens, roiling vortex, and they could have path to exile available. Okay. So, ending to deal with their threats. Spellbomb doesn't usually matter against burn. They are Luris to rebuy, but if I'm going to prismatic ending their threats, maybe I don't worry as much. I mean, I feel like this is all in on let's get that lifelink or build quick big threats. And the fact we mulliganed here did not help us at all. I don't see Pithy Needle really doing anything. First Strike could be nice. Maybe that's... I mean, they're going to target it with Burn, not so a 2 mana isn't the greatest. I don't think I want Paths. This seems like way better. Hey, mulligan is 6. My thought here is Ornithopter, Springleaf Drum. With the idea to be able to, no, I want to, let's protect this. Let's protect Smith into Shadow Spear. Rift Bolt coming, okay. No. I meant to be able to have, to be able to trigger this Ingenious Smith. That's what I meant by protect. Sorry. All right, so I can have a Springleaf Drum or I can have a Memnite. If I get another drum, that's going to let me cast bigger things like Luris. If this is just going to get bolted, maybe that's what I want. I'm going to go with that. I could play out Shadow Spear as well, and maybe I should, so that it's just there, because she's not necessarily going to trigger again. And I'm not blocking with an O2. Ingenious Smith only triggers off the first artifact you play per turn. Okay, so Esper Sentinel. Come in for 6. Yeah, I'll take 1. It's probably a smash. It's a lightning helix. I get to draw my card. It's a Colossus Hammer. So the question is, are we feeling lucky? Let's see what their removal spell is. Like, if it's just artifact removal, there's nothing I could have done to beat it with Colossus Hammer. If it's removal, then we play Colossus Hammer. Got him. All right. So, does anything change? They have things to prevent our life gain, Skullcrack, etc. I don't think I want Path. I think Prismatic Ending can likely do what I need it to without accelerating them. All right. They are keeping 7, and I have nothing. I have 6 lands. Even though 2 of them are Urza Saga, there's nothing to get started there. This is better. Unfortunately, yeah, I think we have to send 1 Saga back. I mean, this is not great. This is not great. Draw me a land. I'll take it. I feel like, in general, we're probably disadvantaged. Yep. Yep. So, I could play Smith. I could pump Smith. Yeah, that feels terrible. Yep. This is a lot of shots to my face. I need to try to pump up the Smith. I left Shadow Spear in the deck to be found off Urza Saga. Okay. What did it reveal? It revealed a Memnite on top. So we're at 8. How many of these can I actually play? If they have Boros Charm doesn't matter what I do, I'm dead. If I think I have to sit back and just removal spell kills me, unfortunately. Smash to smithereens. Yep. It's bad news. Bad news for me. Because, see, now I can't even necessarily... I make a blocker, going to 4 to do it. They kill the blocker. I die. Yep. That's all it takes. Bump, bump. At least we made it close. But we did pick up a loss. I mean, Burn, like, that's the thing about Burn. It's dependable. It's repeatable. Burn does what Burn is going to do every time. But sometimes that's just good. And not to... It's kind of like the fun police. I've heard things referred to before where it's like, okay, you can do your wild 4-color burn, or not burn, 4-color control, Omnath, whatever. You start to get greedier. You make these, wild, exciting plays, and then burn is there that's like, I'm going to kill you turn 5. Now, if you can set up and stay alive before I kill you, good job. If not, if you can't, swing in and have the Colossus Hammer to kill me first, it's this inevitability that each of the cards in their deck is going to deal a certain amount of damage. And honestly, I feel like that's why burn decks probably don't mulligan too much, because on a whole, there's kind of like a card economy to each one of these cards is worth a couple damage, so I should hold as many cards as possible. Now, that doesn't do you any good if you're holding, all burn spells, no lands, can't play anything. Well, sure, your cards are worth a lot of damage, but I'm saying over time, it's a combo deck where the combo is, did they cast 8 spells? Because each spell they play should be able to deal 2.5 damage. So 2.5 times 8, there's your 20. Goblin Guide definitely dealt more than 2 damage. Eidolon on the great level felt like it did 45. Goodness sakes. If you're watching, well, I was gonna launch into a pitch, but I guess we'll just play our match. Round number 5. Our opponent is playing first. Our opponent is a Luris deck. 4 of these matches have been Luris decks. What is this? We got some Springleaf Drums, Sigarda's Aid, and Esper Sentinel. We don't have a payoff. We are on the draw. I'm going to keep. My thought being, okay. So, Ragavan, this could be Burn. All right, so I have deployed an Esper Sentinel. If they remove it, I'll draw a card off of it. Otherwise, we can try to block Ragavan. Question is, do you block Ragavan? I think we do. I think we block with the intent of the cards in our deck are pretty cheap, and I don't necessarily want to hand any of them over. That's my thought process here. I mean, this could be Burn. Even more reason to not hand over the keys. I mean, we could pick up Luris right now. That seems sweet. We have picked up our companion. It could be red-white Hammer Time. Red-white Hammer, setting up for a Pure Steel. I actually thought I had a second Ornithopter, not a second Drum. Because, I mean, they're blue. Yeah, I mean, yeah. All right, so they put Luris in their hand as well. So, I kind of want to, if I play Esper Sentinel, are they just going to replay Ragavan? Not exactly the best way to play this. How the card looks ugly. I mean, they're going to start getting constructs. I will be able to start recurring Luris, which feels like it's good. I guess, do they have removal? You don't have removal if you're Hammer Time, truly. I mean, you have I Dare You to Block. Springleaf Drum is better than I was giving credit for. I don't know if it's a 4 of, but it's definitely better than I was giving it credit for, especially with the Zero Brigade. Is that a Blink Moth Nexus? Why would you play a Blink Moth Nexus? Ink Moth Nexus, yeah, but... Okay. Now, they could have Path. They could have other things like that, so... I think we can sneak in. They're gonna... I've already played my creature. I'm just saying, I wonder, do you think I could get them to block? Yeah, I think they get a construct here. The question is, do you get another construct just to make them bigger? Yeah. And then you get your Shadow Spear. Or do you just get Hammer to go big? I got Shadow Spear. Battlefield's real. You're on Memnite Patrol, buddy. Yep. I think I tap the Ornithopter to cast the Colossus Hammer because Memnite's more what I want to block with. That makes sense. I changed my mind because of what I did last time. And by putting it on the card I wanted, I got blown out. That's the big thing, is how last time when I put the juicy target, or I put the buff on the guy I wanted to live, when in reality I should have made it more. Okay, so they're going to do it and pay for it. Okay. Prismatic Ending main from them. Kind of sucks. Yep. These Springleaf drums are pretty sweet with Prismatic Ending. Okay. Nice. We've already played our land. We might as... Let's find something interesting. That's interesting. Unfortunately, I can't follow up. Not going to play an attacker. So we're not dead. Okay, they have... There's so much going on over there. They do have Luris in hand, but they really don't have anything exciting to go with. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Attack for 13. They've played their own Luris and moved it over. Okay. So, step 1. Let's pump our Smith. Played our land. If we... They have one card left. Let's get another blocker. See, I shouldn't have played the Mem... I didn't need to yet. This looks desperate, like I'm trying to gain life. Which I am. They're like, I don't know how you don't just take this, but it looks greedy. I want them to think it's greedy. All right, we have killed their Luris. And we're back up to a somewhat respectable light you had a Memnite. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Who's not blocking? Seven, 7. This would make this 8. Yep, see, I missed that too, but they could pay. Okay, they did pay it. So they have no cards in hand. Yeah, I just need to suit up the Inkmoth Nexus. All right. So, once again, mirror-ish. What was the red for? Did I see red cards? I'm just trying to think if Knight of Malice is worthwhile, and I feel like it is. Because it's either artifacts or white cards. The removal we saw from them was Prismatic Ending. I feel like that's good. I assume the red is like for artifact destruction, etc. type things. Wear tear maybe. I think I do want Prismatic Ending, just for different things. And this is likely the type of this has to be the best time for this card to shine. I feel like Thoughtseize, it's unlikely we're gonna like run through our cards too fast. You know what I mean? So I also feel like this is one of those ones where it's like I don't want to be drawing a whole bunch of land late. Does that mean I should be playing the fetch lands and not basic plains? That's a good question. If my intent is to not have as many lands in the deck, have I been doing it wrong the whole time? Shouldn't I be playing the fetch lands and taking out basic plains? I think that's actually, if I'm trying to accomplish what I say I'm trying to accomplish, I think that's the way I'm supposed to do it. So hammers. Yeah, I think if I'm trying to increase density and I'm saying that I'm cutting land, I feel like the right way to do it is to cut actual lands, not the fetch lands. So I have been doing it wrong. I believe that. We have had an opponent disconnect again. I mean, once again, I don't want to win this way, but hey, I won the first game. In the matches where we've had the opponent disconnect, that game 3, I did feel like my opening hand was better than theirs. So once again, we wait on our opponent. So let's look at the deck while we wait. I mean, overall, I was pretty happy with everything. I mean, we're not quote done yet, but I mean, obviously, this list was a 5-0 list. The only thing I think I changed was a couple sideboard cards. I don't think I saw one sideboard had Void Mirror, another sideboard had Path to Exile, another sideboard had what's the white pro red pro black card that like eats cards out of the graveyard, and maybe that I did not think about its interaction against Lurrus, so maybe that is a worthwhile inclusion. Besides having protection, and I think, doesn't it also gain life? I could be wrong. It is this thing. Sanctifier Invect. Pro black, pro red, not just hexproof. When it enters the battlefield, exile cards that are black or red from all graveyards. So that could mess with you. If a black or red permanent, spell, or card not on the battlefield would be put into a graveyard, exile it instead. That might be more interesting than I'm giving it credit. The ability to... Let's bring it back real quick. So it doesn't have the life gain ability, like I said, but you put it in play, Burn is not going to be able to remove it. They could... Does Skullcrack have the wording that damage can't be prevented? Because if I were to block with a Sanctifier Invect and you cast Skullcrack, the damage can't be prevented is granted by the protection from red, and that would be a tricky way for red damage to kill a red creature, or a pro-red creature, if you could somehow turn the switch to turn off damage prevention for the turn. That's an interesting way to do it, though, right? But yeah, that version was also doing like the Mishra's Bauble thing. But overall, I'm pretty impressed with this. It does have more lands than other versions. I'm noticing that. So where did they trim? They got the 4th Ingenious Smith. Ingenious Smith is pretty sweet, especially if you can have a Springleaf Drum leading into it. Now, they cut down to 3 Springleaf Drums. I can approve of that. And they have a Soul Guide Lantern. Soul Guide Lantern is a pretty... Is it better than Spellbomb? I like when it comes into play the pinpoint removal aspect, because you don't necessarily need to blow it up every time. And the difference with Soul Guide Lantern being able to, in a pinch, it's the same as Spellbomb. Tap, sack, blow up the graveyard. Now, you can draw the extra card from Spellbomb if you're willing to pay mana, and you're also you can get a card out of Soul Guide Lantern if you're willing to pay mana, but the Spellbomb gives you the card and removes the graveyard at the same time. Soul Guide says, no, you must choose. So, I don't know. I could see this being Soul Guide instead, just because of how much I like that pinpoint removal. Now, that's coming from Vintage, where Tormod's Crypt and things like that. You put Tormod's Crypt out there, and they're like, okay, is my graveyard juicy enough? Maybe dredge a card. Is my graveyard juicy enough? And it's like, you have to blow it, and they're like, okay, then I'll go for it, and they play out the rest. I like Soul Guide coming in and be like, okay, take that card, so then they now have to commit more before you have to decide whether you care enough about it. So that is... I didn't think of that. I'm going to put that in the margin. Soul Guide over Spellbomb? Question mark. I mean, obviously, different people have which side of that argument they come down on, and I don't even know if it's necessarily an argument, but I think it's interesting. And here's another one. We have 2 fetch lands in the mana base. This has 4. Yeah, this has less lands overall, and maybe that's... Let's pull the other one back up. What difference in lands do I have? Okay, 4 Concealed Courtyard. Okay, that's it. They don't have any Concealed Courtyard, and I like that card. I guess they're going in on Godless Shrine and the 4 planes and the 2 fetch lands. And yeah, 4/4 elsewhere, 3 Ink Bomb Nexus. Otherwise, it's the same. So either cut 2 Concealed Courtyards and 2 more fetch lands. I don't know. That feels... With as little Modern experience as I have, it feels wrong. You know what I mean? And that comes from not necessarily Modern experience, but from Magic experience, life experience, old man Magic experience. Yeah. Well, our opponent has still not come back to the game, and I think they have just a few seconds left. So, if you're watching live, thank you for watching today. If you're not already following the channel, please consider giving a follow to the stream. It does help me out. If you're watching the video on demand later, hey, thank you. I appreciate it. And if you're watching even later, I do take the content and I put it up on Swish Gaming's YouTube channel. My team, Swish Gaming. Go check out. There's lots of other people playing lots of other decks. We have a podcast from the team, a bunch of different things like that. So whatever you're looking for, we might have it. And it's more than just Magic as well. Also like to thank Mana Traders. I appreciate what they have done to support the stream. Honestly, I don't think I would be able to stream without Mana Traders. Just the support from them has been, I mean, amazing. And it really is nice to be able to try so many different decks. It's something that if you aren't already doing, you can use my code. It's up there in the top, jpinter_9A0 currently, and get yourself a little bit of discount on your subscription. But otherwise, I don't believe we're going to finish this one because our opponent has departed. I don't know if it's still thinking because it has said, and maybe there's something different by disconnecting during the sideboarding versus otherwise, but yeah, we're going on now. See, that was what was interesting last time. It took 7 minutes before the clock said it timed them out due to inactivity. But over here, it says they left the game at 6:41. Well, it's currently 6:53, and so I don't know. Is there a different timer for different activity? If that makes any sense. I don't know. Is it possible? And I don't know this for sure. Do certain is modern different in where if somebody loses the first game, they just concede the match? Or I don't know. It's not necessarily conceding the match if you just disconnect, right? Because if you turn your computer back on and you log back in, it's going to put you back into that match. So you don't necessarily get to avoid it, but well, all right. I guess we got ourselves a 4-1 the hard way with 2 disconnects, but we were winning each time, so hey, I guess that's how it goes. Thanks again for watching. I always appreciate you. Next, tomorrow, I will be appearing on Azrael Chimera's stream. We're going to do some vintage. I don't know what we're playing yet, but it's going to be vintage, so check us out over there. If you tune into this channel, I will be hosting him, so you should be able to see it. Otherwise, yeah, make sure you're following The Swish Gaming on both Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. And we'll see you next time, everybody. Take care. Good night.